So, Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's absolute smash hit, which I guess kind of was divisive in certain parts here and there. Now, there was an original script, which was still penned by Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, but this was not for Christopher Nolan, and it was actually for a prospective director, none other than Steven Spielberg. So, to continue in my series of scripts that you never saw, today, I'm going to actually be discussing the 2008 script for the original Interstellar, before it became the film which we all know now. Act 1, we open up with a sequence featuring a neutron star falling into a black hole, sending ripples of gravity waves across the galaxy, which opens up a wormhole in Sun's solar system. LIGO physicists at Caltech scramble to find out what some signals from space are, and the NSA arrives to assist the physicists in finding out what it means. Anson and a young John Brand are present when they discover that there's a wormhole somewhere in the solar system. Meanwhile, we then flash forward 50 years, where we see an object falling toward the Earth. In Central California, we find Cooper and his children attempting to repair the bus for the New York Yankees prior to attending their baseball game, where they see an object falling out of the sky, crash landing somewhere. In the morning, Cooper's father-in-law, Donald, tells him to attend a parent-teacher conference. On the way to school, their truck tire blows and they stop to fix it. When a Chinese drone flies over, they take the truck to capture it and steal its power cells. Afterward, Cooper talks to the school principal and Murph's teacher. There he learns that the world is turning its back on their history. A friend asks Cooper to investigate a crashed black box space probe at a beach near Galveston, Texas. The probe has NASA markings, and he returns home attempting to pull the data off of it, and then discovers an image of an ice planet. The probe chirps loudly and annoys them into returning it to where it came from, but instead Cooper places it down a well to get some rest. At the request of Murph, Cooper flies the probe to a special facility built on Santa Cruz Island off the coast of Los Angeles, where there he discovers the last remnants of NASA have been feverishly working to complete a rocket to a nuclear-powered spacecraft in orbit. Cooper is selected by an aged John Brand to go along with the three scientists, Amelia, Doyle and Roth, and two robots, cyborgs, Case and Tars, to fly through the wormhole to the icy planet. Cooper joins the rest of the crew for the launch after a painful goodbye to his children, where he gives one of his sons a watch to keep as promise of Cooper's return. They then reach the wormhole and see their ship and bodies distorted by a space-time distortion. So as you can see, Act 1 is somewhat similar to the film which we had, with some very, very mild differences here and there. Act 2 starts to go a little bit more away from what we have seen, and then Act 3, which you'll see, is somewhat different. On the other side of the wormhole, they enter a new solar system to find two black holes in orbit of each other. They navigate between the black holes and end up on the ice planet. Tars is lost during the transit between the black holes, and after passing through, they discover one long garbled message from Earth, then nothing. While on the ice planet, they look around for clues and discover a shelter made by the Chinese government. Apparently, the Chinese arrived prior to the United States and they set up shop. However, all human Chinese personnel have died, as evidenced by the presence of nearby graves. They find out why these researchers died. A neutron star orbiting the black hole wasn't detected on their first patrols of the system. This neutron star sends out powerful radiation every 24 hours that deposits on the ice planet. The team goes inside for shelter before the star returns, and Case drills a hole in the ice, which then opens a hole beneath them, taking them deep underground. The team then discovers alien life in the walls, which absorbs and lives off the radiation from the neutron star's X-rays when it passes by. After the neutron star makes its pass, the alien life forms are discovered to be small but live as colonies and can take shapes in larger forms. One of the scientists decides to get a sample, disrupting the alien life, which causes the alien life forms to give chase. Afterward, the team discovers a secret Chinese bunker installation, also underground. The team discovers that the installation was supposed to keep all Chinese people there, but no one showed up because all researchers died. Only Chinese robots remain. While at the installation, the team discovers a black box which generates gravity, and they then decide to keep it, but the Chinese robots disagree and, of course, chase them. Case decides to sacrifice himself so the rest can move forward. The team then find out another emergency. Within a decade, a smaller black hole, tiny compared to Pantagruel and Gargantua, will pass by the ice planet. The planet's orbit will then destabilize and it will fall beneath Pantagruel's Roche limit and horizon. The team decides to leave the planet immediately, but they get stuck in the orbit of one of the black holes and end up inside the event horizon after leaving the planet. Time slows down for them and decades pass by as minutes. Suddenly, another wormhole opens up for them inside the black hole and transports them to a hyperdimension where they then encounter the bulk beings that transport them to a humongous space station built by the Chinese over the course of 4,000 years, where TARS has remained since they lost him. While at the Chinese space station, they find technologies far advanced created by the Chinese robots who have been on the station for thousands of years. Amelia decides to take TARS and explore the galaxy through the wormhole network, while Cooper and Doyle decide to leave and go back in time using the advanced technologies. Cooper makes a promise to Amelia that he will come back for her. It is then discovered that time travel is possible, but humans can't go through. Cooper tells Doyle that he will be killed if he goes through, but Doyle refuses and locks Cooper in a lander and decides to go in by himself. Cooper is launched away from the wormhole and Doyle goes through. Doyle is obviously killed and his ship is destroyed, but the black box survives, as well as his spaceship debris, which is eerily similar to the debris which we see at the beginning of the film or the script. Nudge nudge, wink wink, it is. A sequence is shown that reveals that Cooper's youngest son, Murphy Cooper, returned to the Santa Cruz Island facility years later and discovered this black box. Decades pass and Murphy spends nearly 20 years attempting to solve the gravity box. Later, his daughter, Emily, ends up actually solving gravity, thus saving the human race. Unbeknownst to Cooper, he returns to Earth 200 years after he had left, and the Earth is an icy wasteland. He returns to what used to be his house, releases the alien life form on the world, where it then thrives. Cooper remains to die as he falls unconscious. He reawakens inside the medical bay of an immense space station orbiting high above Earth named after Murphy, Cooper Station. Cooper discovers that he is considered a hero and gets to meet his great-great-great-grandson, Anthony Cooper Welling, who gives him back the watch he gave Murphy centuries ago. An untold amount of time passes and Cooper begins to feel alone in this future. He decides one day to take himself and a robot heavily modelled on TARS to steal a spaceship and set out to find Brand like he had promised her. So there you have it, guys. Like I say, there are quite a lot of differences, but they are very subtle. Obviously, in Christopher Nolan's version, we went inside a bookshelf and we had the dimensional kind of warping from there and the space-time continuum and all of this stuff. As much as I liked Christopher Nolan's version, I feel that this potentially would have had a more eerie / scary vibe to it. I don't know if that's the right phrasing to use, but I do feel that this version potentially would have been ever so slightly better, but that is because I'm biased, because I enjoy the kind of sci-fi / horror genre. I liked Interstellar, don't get me wrong, but if we're comparing the two, this seems, as it reads anyway, to give off a slight more air of horror, which for me is always a win. But I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of Interstellar first, and what do you think of this, the movie that we never saw? Do you like the sound of this? Do you dislike the sound of this? And listen, guys, if you want to see more of this particular series, please do give this a share and like it, because of course it tells me that you want to see more, and I will rush out and do more for you on a weekly basis. As always, guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, stay up to date on all the world of pop culture and movie news, and of course this series of movies from cancelled scripts or scripts that you never saw. As always, I've been Mr. H, and I'll catch you in the next video.